Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to the Six Bugle Podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Ruiz, and today we have a very special guest, a good friend of mine that I met through some other friends that we happen to be associated with. His name is Bala Manja. Bala, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing wonderful. So, Bala, you're a financial identity coach, right? And you also help people to stop feeling broke inside. Is that what you do?
That is the best way you can put it.
Well, I got that from your LinkedIn page, so I figured I can't mess with that, right? Good. Welcome to the Six Bugle Podcast. And we just had a couple of questions for you. You can go ahead and answer it and elaborate as much as you like. So, we provide this service for fire service executive assistants. And also, we've been noticing a lot of fire chiefs that have been watching our podcast. So, I'd like to just ask you a couple of questions if I could.
Absolutely.
Many fire service professionals dedicated their careers to serving others, often at the expense of their own financial planning. How do you help people shift from just surviving financially to building intentional wealth, especially those in public service roles who may feel limited by their salary structures?
Yeah, so really good question. When it comes to wealth, what I have learned over time is we tend to always really fixate on the external element when it comes to finances, the paychecks, the importance of basic fundamentals when it comes to money management. But what I have learned in my own life and what I've seen through other people is that starts from the inside, right? Like everything building on the outside starts from within. And I look at it also like you have to approach money like you're dating it. Because when you're dating somebody, how do you approach that relationship? You check on them frequently, you care for them, love them, you want to grow together, but it's an internal feeling first. So a lot of the work I really do is starting from the inside out. And for a lot of people, that's not necessarily what we always focus on. And it's not our fault at all. It's no one's fault because we are just so used to saying, hey, here's the budget, here's a spreadsheet, here's how everything works. So, really, in order to build wealth on the outside first, you have to feel wealthy on the inside. And what does that mean exactly? Well, for your audience and anyone listening, it really comes down to the awareness of, okay, was there an area in my life where something was kind of derailed? How did I grow up in my family and community? How was money spoken about? What was the language? What was the feeling? Was it paycheck to paycheck? Was it stressful? All these things play such an increment role in our subconscious. And that's something in my life I had to kind of figure out along as I went through this for myself is, okay, this is a story that took me off. This is the things that I heard. And that story becomes part of us internally. It's our internal wiring. And so I think for anybody who's trying to build wealth, and even if you are living to paycheck, which I totally understand that that's how almost every person lives. First, you have to be really intentional with your money. Like, okay, where is it going? What is it doing? Tracking how it comes in. But it also starts with how do you feel when it comes in? Are you happy with it? Do you feel stressed? Is it waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning because, oh my God, in 2 weeks I have rent and bills due, but I don't have it coming in? So the core of it is being aware of the problem you might have inside. How do you correspond to the wealth, to the money itself? And then from there, you start rewriting the story. I would encourage people to write everyone, we're getting closer to the holidays and Christmas time. You write a, letter to Dear Santa, write a letter to Dear Money. This is how I feel. This is how I felt. This is how you were growing up, but this is how I want to change our relationship. And so when you start doing this, you will slowly, like with any muscle, doing that repetition over and over, begin to have a story with it. And when that story starts to change for you for the inner world and your psychology, you're going to start approaching that differently with money management altogether. You're going to start seeing your paycheck not just as a paycheck, but this is a tool, right? Money at the end of the day is a tool for giving you the life you want. And the better you are with changing that in your wiring, you're going to actually have a very different relationship with it. And it's going to become more abundant. You're going to see it come in. Where is it going? Do I need to do savings more, investing more? How much are my bills getting paid quickly on time? You basically have to put yourself back in the driver's seat and take more control of it. So it's not just dictating your life, right?
Right. No, it's amazing that you say that because it is psychological and a lot of it stems from when we were kids, right? And I was part of that too, where money was very strained. And that's what was ingrained in my memory when I was a child before my brain had a chance to develop And that transformed into my high school years, my college years, where I felt that money was always going to be a strain because that's all I ever knew, right? Until I ended up going to college, I paid for my own college tuition. And that's where I learned, wait a minute, I'm in control of this. We had a roof over our head and food on the table, right? My father took care of us financially, but there was always seemed to be a struggle. We never vacationed anywhere or anything like that. But you're absolutely right. It's a mindset. And I think that's very important. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So when you talk about these gaps that could be a critical issue, in fire service administration, we see leaders managing multi-million dollar departmental budgets, but sometimes they struggle with the personal financial decisions. What are the most common blind spots you see in professionals who are great at their jobs but haven't been taught money management? And how can they start closing those gaps?
Yeah, so my first thought to this is how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? And whether you're managing $1 million or you're trying to manage $1,000 personally, the number may be more significant, but if you don't know how to manage $1,000 or even $100, you're going to have a hard time managing $1 million. And the reality to it too is sometimes I think everyone goes through this where when you're in business for yourself or something, your identity is soaring. Like you're telling yourself, hey, I deserve more money than this, but the money hasn't caught up yet. So there's a bit of a lag there, right? So there's a little bit of a buffer time there, but that shows that your mind is already way above that and the income is just not catching up. But when you're trying to manage it too, again, I would say treat it like I also have times where I've worked on film sets, and a lot of times in the world of filmmaking, when you're on an independent set, people will treat it like an independent set versus a studio because studios have much bigger budgets. They can do much more with it. But when you're on a set, you're treating it very indie because it's very familiar, it's small, it's manageable, but you're bringing that new nuance to it, right? It's the same thing with money management. If you're even managing $1 million, treat it like your personal finances because there's still a connection there. It's not just about the business, but it is a spiritual connection to it, and it's still an energy at the end of the day. So do the same thing. I'm not a fan of spreadsheets, but I know a lot of people are. So I like to, with pen and paper, I write down, okay, this is what's coming in, this is what's going out, where's it going? And even when I came back from Dallas, I was telling people that I was very frugal in a way when I was traveling. But I tell people it's not because I'm trying to be cheap. I'm just trying to see where my money is going and how can I avoid giving out more than I need to, right? And when
Mhm.
you're managing a business, that is literally the oxygen of it. So it's like when you don't have your money management right, you feel like you're suffocating. You don't feel like you can breathe. So in order to fill those gaps, again, I do what I call a tracking plan. Every dollar that's going out, what is it doing? How is it working for me? Is it building the business? Is it going to the right people? Is it expanding us? And if it's not, okay, then we need to eliminate it because money at the same time, you have to be very disciplined. You have to respect it. You have to love it. And you have to treat it like it is your partner. Again, comes back to treat it like you're dating it, right? Do the same fixation with it. But at the end of the day, really, you're trying to make money multiply for you. So you also have to look at, okay, is this working for us? Is this a risk? What is the return on the investment or whatever we're putting out there to grow our money faster? And it's the same thing with your personal finances. Not every dollar is going to be something that's going to help you grow. Sometimes you have to be patient and wait. I always reflect on things that Warren Buffett talks about, when with investors, sometimes people are just hungry to get into something, but it's okay to be patient and wait. So again, at the end of the day, I would say treat it like your personal finances, build that connection, that relationship with it, and really sit back with your team and look at it and say, okay, hey, how much did we spend last month? Is it the same this month? Did that give us any value in return? No. Okay. So you have to have that relationship even with your business, just like you do in your personal life, because if not, they're both going to derail you, right? And again, it is what is the meaning for it for you internally? What does that business mean for you long term at the end of the day?
Right, right. I like that. I like the how you said that because I think writing it down makes it come to life, right? You're not it's not just the money coming in and money going out. If you jot it down, it comes to life. Now you get to see it. Especially now with all these subscriptions that you have and you don't even think about it. It's on your credit card and you pay your monthly credit card payment. Don't even think about it. You don't see it. So is it actually working for you? Or is it really the investment that you want to gain from? Because you're buying stuff, it's still an investment, right? It makes you happy, hits you that gives you that hit of dopamine very, very briefly, but then it goes away. Was it really worth it? right? And are you willing to do the long game? Are you willing to invest it and watch it grow and see it grow? And that route could be challenging as well. Now, you have the Big Bala podcast, and that's connecting financial decisions to emotional well being and life purposes. Very similar to what you're talking about. For our listeners who are passionate about fire service, but may be approaching retirement or career transitions, how can they use financial planning as a tool, design their next chapter rather than just hoping they have enough saved?
Yeah, that's a really good question. A lot of people, unfortunately, there's different generations, like even with my own parents who did not prepare until later in life. So everyone looks at it like, okay, we don't have enough time. But I believe nowadays there's still so many ways to do this. And again, it really comes down to it. When people mention the word retirement, I always ask them, well, what does that exactly mean? What does that look like for you? What is the retirement age? How much can you actually live off comfortably? And when people say, well, I don't know if I have enough, well, what is enough?
Hmm.
Define that. Give me a number because we can save all day long, but what are you saving for? Is there intention behind that? Sometimes it's okay to just save to save, but have a number in mind. I was actually on a session with a gentleman the other day and we were talking about this. And I said, the easiest way to approach even saving is say, okay, look at what after 2, 3 months, look at what your basic expenses are, and then multiply that by 12 months for the whole year. So now you're looking at a bigger picture of what the overall year costs you to live. So in retirement, it can be something similar. Okay, what do you expect your basic living to be covered? Let's say the best case scenario is your mortgage is paid for, you don't have any debts, but this is what it costs you to live. So this is what it costs you every month. And I always say add a little more to that because I don't want to have a buffer. So if you say it's comfortable for you to live off 5,000, add another 2,000 to it, just to have comfortability. You multiply that by 12, and then you say, okay, let's say you have 20 years of retirement. This is what the goal is, right? So again, it always goes back to the strategy and the fundamentals are important, but you have to know what the number is, what is enough, what is the comfortable living for you, what geographically, how do you manage the state taxes, things like that that are going to have an effect on you. So it comes down to asking those very important questions and then from there building off of the strategy on how to get there. And even if you're starting late in life, it doesn't mean you can't start or talk to a financial, whether it's an advisor or tax strategist or somebody who can help you plan retirement effectively for yourself. Because nowadays there's so many ways to get investments done for you, even if it's the most simple level. But I don't think that you should ever be worried that, oh my God, I'm 50, 60 and I'm never going to be able to retire comfortably. It's not impossible to do it. But anyone who's in the stage, you have to be disciplined. You have to manage your spending habits. You have to be willing to sacrifice a little bit now for later. And you have to be consistent. In the long run, it makes all the difference with what you're doing, especially in the financial game, because people will think, oh, if I save $50, it's not going to be much. No, but if you save $50, say every month for how many months or how many years, it's going to compound over time. So you have to let the compounding machine work for you.
Right, right. All great advice. We certainly do appreciate you being here, helping us out, feeling more comfortable with it, right? And I think that's what people just don't feel very comfortable with it, or they don't like to talk about it, that type of thing. But, in this day and age, it's like you said, there's a lot of resources out there to help you. And I'm sure you're available to help people out, yes, in case they want to get some further information. You'd be willing to provide them with a clarity call, possibly.
Yeah, absolutely. For all your listeners, I mean, I'm here to serve and help you guys as much as I can. I do have my own podcast, which I'm very proud of myself for doing. I'm on episode 25 now. So I talk about everything from, my own journey, identity, relationship with finances. My recent episodes were about Christmas shopping, which I think people really need to be watching out for because that creeps up on you later in the year. So, and if you want to follow me there, I'm on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So I'm always giving content as fresh as I can to everybody who comes in and listens. Definitely, I would love to serve you guys as best as I can. However you can, definitely find me on my podcast, listen in and connect with me there for sure.
And that's the Big Bala
The Big
podcast.
Bala Brands Podcast. Yes, sir.
And you're also on LinkedIn, so they can reach out to you there.
Yes.
All right, sounds good. And we'll have that information at the end of this video so that you can jot it down. That way you don't have to worry about looking for a writing instrument right now. But we'll have that available to you and make sure that you get in touch with Bala and he'll be more than happy to help you out. Bala, I do appreciate your time, brother.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a pleasure. It was so nice to meet you.
Yes, yes, we are happy that you were able to, especially the timing right now, right? With the Christmas and all that. And I told my family, I got enough stuff. If you want to give me a present, give me something that you made with your own hands and something that you think that I would appreciate. So I'm looking forward to seeing what I get now. Right.
Absolutely. I definitely emphasize that a lot. And I also look at it as I would like to give someone a gift that they can use every single day, not just in one moment, and make sure it actually makes a difference in their life.
And financial advice is ideal. Bala, thank you very much and appreciate your time, brother. Thank you all for visiting here on the Six Bugle podcast. Everyone, take care.
Thank you.